Okay, I was going to do session in a moment, but maybe just before we do that, because we also want to contextualise what he's going to talk about, if you can maybe just get a little bit of feedback from each of the groups, just the sorts of things that you talked about. So maybe we'll start over with David and on this side. What sort of issues or themes, I guess, did you come up with?
Anna and I were looking at the, I'm based in Edinburgh and
Yep.
Anna's based in Dundee, so we were looking at the ways different cities might react to the torch relay. In Edinburgh, a lot of the discussion has been about the link with the Edinburgh festivals, so that was good. Are they going to be an opportunity for new visitors to come because they don't want to go to London, or is it going to be actually a drain and people will not want to come to Edinburgh? They'll rather just stay at home and watch television, whatever it might be. Other things we looked at in Dundee, if I can speak for Anna, that perhaps there's a general lack of awareness of what's going on in the city. Maybe this is an opportunity for people to engage with the city that they already live in. If there's an event going on, maybe, people just don't necessarily know about it, so opportunities there. And perhaps links with some of Dundee's creative industries work, whether it's computer games or design or dance or whatever it might be. Other things we looked at, other themes came through: celebration, representation, maybe protest, Scottish identity, participation. So I've got more notes on them, but there might be other others.
These all sound like great themes, and all these themes do apply. I think it's really interesting, the awareness stuff. And the Cultural Olympiad struggles in Scotland with awareness. There's no doubt about that. In terms of lots of activity, if you look at the programme, which was published just last week, which we're in, Citizen Relays in, but there's lots of stuff. But a lot of people do not know that is happening, because it's complex communication-wise. Actually, how do you get to people that the Cultural Olympiad means this? Because people don't quite even know what it means. It's a 4-year thing. It's meant to be a 4-year thing, but people really don't get that sense. But the torch sometimes at least attracts attention. It generates awareness for whatever reason, because people know it's coming through. There's going to be a big celebration happening at night where a popular celebrity is going to be singing. That's maybe the level that some people have of engagement with it. Okay, really good. Next group.
Well, we kind of focused on at first kind of education kind of thing, like how it affects that kind of thing as well. Because obviously high schools and schools are going to be involved in it and that kind of thing. But Violet was saying that because she teaches at summer schools, because of the disruption that's happening in London, a lot of people now, like from Italy, for example, are saying are coming over here.
Are coming to Scotland. It's actually a boost for summer schools this year, just because they don't want to go to London.
So it's kind of like, are they going to have a lot more kind of events in local areas because of that? Because I know that like at Cali, I was saying that we had like global cafes, so are they going to do that with like community centres and that kind of thing? Are they going to start maybe doing that and that kind of thing, which kind of links into it's kind of a side effect of the Olympic Games and the torch really kind of will be involved in that as well. They were just kind of talking about.
We actually wanted to ask people questions about how much do you know about the Olympics, and it's like, do you know how does the torch look like? How does it travel? And what does it mean? Why does it travel?
Yeah.
So just basic questions because even if people cannot answer, I'm sure they will go home and Google it.
Yeah.
So raises awareness as well.
You can ask them exactly those questions when we go in.
And then we were kind of talking about that thing as well. It's like, is there kind of money wasted in this kind of economic crisis? Because that's a big thing as well just now. They're kind of spending money on this torch, really, this massive convoy, or could it be put to better use in actual local communities? Local communities have issues right now that aren't being addressed and are maybe sidelined because of them kind of maybe focusing more on the Olympics and the torch.
And clearly, depending upon which organisation and individuals you speak to, that there is an issue about the redistribution of monies that some people feel. The art sector and the culture sector feels sometimes that money has been redistributed to London because the reality of a mega event is that you have to deliver it. So sometimes, in political terms, they feel that you have to divert money to make sure that you deliver a spectacle that people will be happy with, whatever. But that means that certain areas will lose out a little bit in terms of that context. And I think what's interesting is what people have then, lots of areas have been incentivised to do things around about the torch too. The Summer of Song projects that I think that we were talking about with youth. So, these are people who have been incentivised to do something so that they can ensure that there is something happening along the leg of the tour. I think what's more interesting is those groups and organisations that have done something without incentive, without being funded to deliver something that will be a part of an official programme. They've actually created something that they feel represents or secures participation from their wider community in doing something, there just happens to be the hook of a torch really coming through that's making you do it. Because I think that may well, you'll find me much more sustainable as a model of community building. Okay, any more, or move on to?
Those are kind of main things.
You've got lots more questions, I'm sure, which again you can frame. Mutual and Bayan. Mutual's done a huge amount of research. He's got a thesis here actually, which is great.
So we were talking about Scottish independence. How is that going to affect the separation between Scotland and England? Because the Olympic team is going to be the UK and not Scotland and England just now.
So that's that same kind of identity issues that David kind of
how is the Olympic spirit and people? How do you feel about that? Because a lot of people are not even interested in the Olympics. They're like, don't care about them. Political and social economic issues. They're like, it's a waste of money. They don't want to go down to London because of the security. They're scared to go uptown here because they think that they might bomb here and not down there. The Commonwealth Games were the differences where it's going to be bigger.
And again, I think Jennifer mentioned it is an issue we found already doing some of the work, is that people, if you mention the games, they think it's, maybe we're talking about the games that are going to be in Scotland, the Commonwealth Games and not the games. So there's almost a sense that can we get that pass with, so that we can get on with our games, if you like. And obviously that, especially in Glasgow, you get that sense is that we have to do the Olympics because some of our bodies are given that responsibility, but that it doesn't necessarily we're leading through into a focused activity for 2012. It's about how do we build for 2014, and in some ways we've said that with this project we're building also for creating an infrastructure of people who can get involved towards the Commonwealth Games. Yeah, good.
We have the roadworks and tram projects. How is that going to affect before, during and after? Because you have Princess Street as a main street in Edinburgh that is the Torch and Northern pathway because of roadworks. So are they going to stop them during the torch passing by? How is that going to change?
Yeah,
I think these will be very local issues that will, that maybe on the basis of a big event actually focus the attention.
Yeah, we were also talking about those rings, which are going to be not on the castle but on the mount, which is next to the castle. So we are going to have those rings during a 3-month period, even actually after the games. So people are asking questions why we need those rings there, why we need a wheel there in Princess Street Gardens. We don't need to be involved in this kind of thing because we have the festivals, and now when the people come for the festival they will see the rings and we don't want to be related. So there is some kind of this interesting angles.
There's also a live site in Edinburgh, isn't there? Or there's a screen in Edinburgh, at least it's one of the official screens, if you like, which in itself often creates issues, but they should be participatory spaces where people go and they create, and I think it's been challenging, would I be right in saying, to get people in mass congregations of people at the screen. And no doubt that will happen during the Olympics. Again, it's an interesting space there in terms of getting public participation, I think.
Yeah, and also the big event will be in the castle, and it's going to be free, but at the same time there are tickets. So those free tickets are given to 7,000 people, but where, when, how they're going to get those tickets? Who are the people going to be there? So is there an issue if you are a tourist and you want to participate in this event but you don't have the actual ticket? So these kind of issues might be interesting to follow up and to cover.
Good. And over this side?
Like many people have said, we want to explore kind of the awareness of the Olympics, to ask people if they're aware about it and how they're kind of learning about it. Like, because if they think there's been enough advertising about it, how Edinburgh will be incorporated into it. And then also the difference of like the information on the torch relay, because many people just don't really think about how that is incorporating Scotland and passing through. And if they know about the significance of participating, because I found when I told people about what I'm getting involved with, they don't actually know that it's selected people who run the torch and it's for like their contribution to the community. And they kind of just think that it's just athletes who do it and like little local celebrities. So I think it's just exploring like people understand kind of more information about it. And also if they know that Edinburgh Festival is kind of a partner of the event, because it kind of inflicts at the same time. And like many people might say, well, we've got the Fringe Festival here, we're more focused on that, but if they actually understand that the two are linked together.
Yeah, because there is a kind of possibility of real saturation of things happening, which is maybe always a challenge in Edinburgh during particular times of the year where lots of festival activities taking place. So yeah, I mean, I think these are all really interesting issues, and I think that this context is really useful, I think, for when we do some of the work that Adam's just going away to do now, because the sorts of questions, depending upon the sorts of audience that you reach. So if we do some stuff here today, just getting Joe blogs off the street, you're going to get a particular reaction or whatever, which might be, I don't know anything about it, so I've really got nothing to say. Clearly there's also lots of activities happening, groups, schools, other works who are going to be doing stuff around about the torch, and they will have been doing learning, as you described, Caitlin, for some time. And that schools are doing, as part of the curriculum, they're doing lots of learning about the Olympics, if you like. And I think for us, one of the challenges is how we interact with, for example, schools or groups, because we're not really set up to go into a school and speak to children, but there are people within schools, teachers and others, who have been working with those children who we would like to connect with, to say, actually, tell us what they've been doing, what have they been learning, what they're going to be doing around about the torch, and what significance does the torch have in terms of how they perceive that. So that is a target for us, I think. Okay, that's excellent. That's really good.